What's up, Go enthusiasts? I've covered Nakamura Sumire plenty of times on this channel. She has grown a lot to become one of the best female players in Japan and perhaps even the world, while still being extraordinarily young, just barely a teenager. She is no longer the youngest player to become pro, and that honor now goes to Fujita Reo. The system that allowed Nakamura Sumire to become pro is special, actually. It's sort of instituted for her, but it's been used a couple times as well since then, where professionals will simply just nominate a player under the age of 12 to become pro, and they become a sort of semi-professional player. It's sort of like a probationary one-dan professional rank, and if you do well and really improve, you will gain it for real. So it's probationary, but we can already call them a one-dan professional because the players that the pros are choosing, it's sparse and it's really high talent. So the new youngest professional player is Fujita Reo. He became a one dan pro at the age of 9 years old and 4 months. 9 years and 4 months old, he became a one dan professional. Let's take a look at him versus Takahiro Endo, a 9-dan pro born in 1948, 75 years old at the time of the game. This isn't the largest age gap that there's ever been between two players, but it's pretty close. There's a really big age gap of about 65 years between their birthdays. In this game, Takahiro Endo is white, Fujita Reo is black. Interestingly, Fujita Reo, as he was learning Go, the whole time AI had been out. He's maybe one of the first professionals to have that. For most of us players, myself included, AI came out like a little bit after I started learning Go. It wasn't very much, but a little bit. And we're going to see some of that impact in Fujita Reo's style. And his opening choices, he plays a couple approaches and like this, and it's not that unstandard because everyone plays AI these days, but we're going to see later he does a couple things that are very natural to AI and less natural to humans who learned without AI. He plays the kick and pincer here, which is always okay, especially when you have the R14 stone. White plays a pincer back and black plays here. Fujita Reo is something of an aggressive player. He's not crazy aggressive, but he enjoys putting pressure on his opponent, giving them a weak group. Takahiro Endo is happy to run it out. And you can see Fujita Reo trying to keep pressure on from the right side. He knows this shape. He's seen it many times before. And he knows it's fine to play the diagonal here to secure the corner and threaten to build the right side. White can then run out. And black should run out, making sure to save his own weak group. Fujita Reo, like most young players, doesn't know exactly the right way to save his weak groups. In this case, he plays the jump to the left side first, allowing white to secure attack against the one stone in the corner, and then attaches here. It doesn't really make any sense because you didn't need that jump to attach there. It would have been much better to just attach like this directly, and then you will naturally get stones headed in that direction without spending the stone itself at H15, which just sort of solidified white. So this was a little bit of a slow step, this one. It stepped in the wrong direction, and it gave white a little bit of advantage in the fight, where white manages to seal off the left corner pretty nicely, while also being ahead in the center race. Black pushes from behind once and then plays the knight's move. So he's stable at least. He may not be like gaining while he's defending his weak group here, but at least he's not dying with his weak group or anything like that. And basically both of these groups, which didn't really have a base, have run to the center enough to start outlining some territory, and they both look like they're getting quite strong. White plays now the peep one time, and this is an asking move for how black plans to handle this area. Basically, what cuts are you going to give white, and then he'll change how he wants to play based off of that. And Fujita just says, let me protect like this. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by this move. In my opinion, anyone who studied with AI should want to play here. And there's not really a good reason not to, in my opinion. It just puts more pressure on for no cost, really. You have a slight cost of cuts here, but you should be able to handle those. This one instead is what happened. And white then jumped. Okay, there's something that happens a lot of the time when these kinds of age gaps occur, which is that the older player knows that they aren't as sharp as they used to be. And the younger player knows that too. So often the older player will try to make it so nothing happens in the game, and they just sort of make some cunning strategic moves to try to steal away a few points and win a little bit in the end game. That's very common, and they don't like having weak group situations very much in their game. So in this situation, there was no reason for White to jump out 2 spaces here. This does not really control the board very well, and the group there would already be strong without this. It would have been better to play some move on the left side, but he plays here because he wants it to be that his group will never be attacked, and he doesn't have to worry about some tactical thing happening where Fujita will outread him. Instead, Black gets to go on the left side, and White just continues to play big points like this. Black goes to the upper left corner. So he steals away some territory. I think he understands that what White is trying to do is just collect a bunch of territory and then beat him. So as long as he steals some territory in the corners, and then leaves some weak groups, so he doesn't want to over defend his group on the top side or his group over here, and he sort of wants to give White some strength to enable him to attack it if he wants to. When Takahiro would attack those weak groups, it must necessarily become an interesting game, and Fujita believes in himself in the interesting games. White plays a descent here. So White could have tried to attack over here or attack over here, but he just plays a big move. This is just big towards the corner. It keeps a little bit more pressure on the black stones, but it's definitely Takahiro is thinking, where can I play moves that are just going to gain me value and let me wait for my opponent to do something strange. Black plays here. So this is also just another big move, and it looks at some weaknesses in the White shape there. But White says time to attack because he prepared one step here. Black doesn't have very much eye space on the top side, and there's a cutting point over here. So this looks a little awkward. It looks like maybe Black will have to fix that cutting point, and then White plans to sort of attack from this side, I guess. To be honest, I don't really understand, because if I was playing, I think it's too obvious that you can play here. And even if you answered, I also think that would be fine. But this kind of move is saying, hey, you peep me there. Can you really hold on to that stone? Really? That's so far away. And White has to be like, yeah, I can, or else it doesn't make sense. And then Black can capture the ko. If Black could win this ko entirely, White would be shattered, so White needs to connect for this to make sense. And then Black plays here. This shows Fujita potential. This move is why he was nominated to become a pro and 9 years and 4 months old. It's not like the only reason why. This game was not played by that point, but this is the spirit of why. In this position, a lot of players will simply back off, which is fine. That's completely okay. Or they'll do something crazy. They'll try to cut. But if you cut, you can't really put pressure on White. You don't have enough attacking potential yet to show that you can justify it. And if you back off, then White will definitely be able to take care of themselves and nothing really special will happen. This move is saying, hey, right now, I haven't protected that yet, so you can go ahead and take it if you want, but if you do, I can counterattack you. So do you need to solidify yourself here first before I connect? And if you do, if you play some slow move there, and I get to come back over here, then this exchange gains for me. That's what Fujita is talking about. So this is the correct way to keep pressure in a situation like this where several things are going on. You just say, hey, can you really do that? And you just press on the edge of what's possible, playing from the outside, making sure your stones are always useful. It's a very nice move. It keeps a lot of pressure on White right now. And Takahiro Endo chooses to take his base on the top side. So this is obviously always just a big move, and White is continuing his strategy of I just go take the big stuff. But it leaves Black the next move in the center. So Black can now try cut, and when White wins the ko, to cut again, like this. This is actually quite difficult for White to handle. It was possible instead. I'd like to not cut there and not exchange that ko, so to preserve that area. So it was possible to play this one instead. But if this would happen, White would play here. And then Black doesn't really have the timing to cut like this anymore because White will connect here now, splitting the Black shape, and the ko would still be very good for White. So this was very sharply read again by Fujita. He cut here first and then played this one, realizing that it prevented White any clean connection through. So White is actually in a difficult position, and he plays here and then this one. He wouldn't really want to just capture that one stone because then Black could protect his whole group very nicely. So he has to try to save. And this saving is to keep pressure on the peep there, on the cut over here. There's a lot of cuts still in the black shape, but white has to now save this group and that ko, and you can see white is starting to get in trouble because black has put the pressure on from the outside the whole time. Black simply connects like this and captures the ko. Although this capturing of the ko, it may have been a little bit early. I don't think white would have played over there too urgently if black had continued to play in the center. So if I were playing, I would play in the center again because I realized that white's ko threat is, of course, the hane. Then black has to save his 3 stones. It wouldn't make sense otherwise, so he has to play here. But when white captures the ko, you can see there's some cut that's created. So black has to fix like this. And this shape is a little awkward. It's like white managed to get a whole bunch of outside stuff, strengthening himself, and black had to spend several moves over here, just like over defending his stones. So it's a little bit unsatisfactory for black over there, but still the fighting is very difficult for white because still his group on the top side can be in trouble and his group in the center can be in trouble. So Takahiro Endo starts with this move. He wouldn't want black to block there, potentially gaining some eye space of his own and making it so that this white group couldn't live locally. But when he plays this one, which makes sure that that group on the top side is alive, and is a lot of territory as well, black can try to win the ko. And white can't just let this go for free. He has to try some ko threats. He plays a peep here and captures the ko back. And black can play this cut. So black, even though he can't attack the top side anymore after that, he still has all the pressure in the ko and in the center. After this cut, white needs to Atari and push out. It's the only sequence possible. Otherwise, this white group would get in way too much danger. And if that group dies, all the attacks for white are all over. So white had to do it like that, and then black came back to capture the ko again. White could exchange this Atari, but Fujita Reo was happy to see that ko threat, actually. And I think this is also a mature way to view things. I think some people will try to stop that ko threat. I mean, I originally was thinking like this. I was thinking maybe this isn't so bad. But the problem is, if you play like that, and then white wins the ko, particularly by pushing through, if that would happen, then you could continue to get attacked on the left side because you haven't really secured that one stone. So instead, allowing this white hane, that white hane is still not well connected to the white stones, and black is much stronger over here. So it's going to be easier to lose this ko if that would ever happen when he allows the hane like this. At this point, black plays the ko threat here, which is really annoying for white. Because if you let these 3 stones go again, it's going to be bad no matter what. Black becomes so strong, and this ko is not that valuable again after this hane exchange was played. So white needs to connect, and he connects like this. He needs to keep the maximum pressure on black in the center. Black captures the ko back. White plays another ko threat over here and captures the ko, and black plays his ko threat cutting again. I think it looks great. We're keeping so much pressure on the white center group. It just sort of has to run out uselessly again. And we're gaining on the left side. You can see black has gained so much power on the left side. So what has white gotten? Well, black got all the left side. White is almost killing this black group. White was attacking it a little bit from the beginning, and now look, it's all dying. So white pushes through here, and he's keeping so much pressure on. Black simply captures the ko, and white plays here. So now this whole black group is actually dead because he got 2 moves in a row. It really finished it off. And black was just satisfied like, oh, I can win the ko, I can save at least just that bit, and I have all this left side. At the end, finally, after all the trading is done, the game is even. It's fun. It's so much fun, right? What a big trade. The whole left side for the whole center, and the game's still even. It was possible to do some other things here. For example, here, when I was looking through the game, I was not convinced that white needed to spend a move connecting there. I thought it would be nice if he could play a move over here for some big move like that, but black would play here. And then the problem is, when this happens, you sort of need to answer in the center, but there is some shortage of liberty on this side, where, yeah, if it goes like this, you can see unfortunately, there is a snapback like that. So because of that kind of shortage of liberty issue, white needed to solidify his center area. And that allows black to spend his next move capturing these 2 stones. That was definitely the biggest thing on the board. So black has managed to take the entire left side, white has the entire center, black still has something on the right, so the game is even. White plays a big move in the bottom right. So he's going to try to, again, steal away as much territory as he can, get to all the big moves first, play Urgent Go. Black simply pushes Hanes here, trying to use that dead group to gain as much strength as he can towards the bottom and cash it in for territory. He breaks this area, puts some pressure on the corner, puts some pressure on the side. I think this is a really nice sequence again by Fujita-Reo, where white should save in the corner like that, but black can continue to keep pressure on this 1 stone. So he pushes here. White should make sure not to allow black any nice shape there. But he actually does when he plays this cut. He lets black Atari and force white into an empty triangle, and then black can fix all his cutting points. I don't like that for white at all. I think it would have been much better to play here and leave that cut for later if you can take it, and just make sure that your shape in the center is as good as possible. But instead it goes like this. That means black has a little bit more thrust into the center, and the white group is significantly less shapely. Then white pushes in the corner like this. So he's taking as much territory as he can, but this actually allows black to fix this cut. I think that cut was more important. If white had taken that cut and just thrown all of his stones all the way like this, you can do it however. Black could have played the diagonal instead of the descent, but I think it would be similar because the white descent is still Sente. At the end here, you can see white breaks the bottom side. Black's shape is not that much territory. White has a nice center, and even this black group can potentially be weak later. So this was, I think, quite important for white to take, and black managing to connect here actually gains a lot in terms of shape. The bottom side looks significantly more like black territory, and just black's power in this area will allow him to launch some attack on white on the right side later. But Wei had a plan. He understood that that could happen, and he was always planning to play this move. Just reducing the black area, saying, hey, you can't really take that territory so efficiently no matter what, right? So although you get some good shapes, where is your territory? And Fujita-Reo says, here, this is how I take the territory. This is locally the best way to take the territory, but this is speaking white's language in a slightly bad way. We shouldn't actually answer when our opponent says, hey, where's your territory on the second line? They've already taken it. Like, we don't have enough territory there anymore. Instead, it would have been better to try to control the attack, right? The attacking aspect. And later you can take the territory if you have the time. But basically this area, it wasn't very weak. So even though white takes some more territory moves, you're not going to lose the game off of that. You're going to lose the game off of your own efficiency. Instead, black plays here, and white goes to the corner. I also, as white, want to defend here. I don't know why he didn't, but he goes to the corner like this, and black should then get the first attacking move. So he chooses to just back off like this, and Hane. Important not to exchange either one of these moves before the Hane. After this, if white would Hane back, then you could play the descent, right? So if you had exchanged P16 for P18 beforehand, then you wouldn't be able to do that anymore. As is, white needs to answer this side, and black can play a couple more forcing moves, and finally take that move on the right side. Well done by Fujita-Reo. White chooses to play another big move in the bottom left, and black ignores. So this was sort of threatening to save those 2 cutting stones, but black realizes his group there is not weak. Even if that would happen, he can still answer, eat those 2 stones. It would not be like black is getting attacked. So he doesn't answer to this white move and chooses to start his attack on the right side. He plays this peep, which is great, but then he plays this move. And I actually played this variation and the Toronto Go Spectacular about 7 months ago now. Wow. Except I didn't play there, I played it better. You're supposed to play peep and then peep here. Then when white connects, you can see white does not have nearly any eye space, so you can continue to just attack in the center, something like this. This looks very crude to professional players a lot of the time, but this is definitely a much better way to play than what Fujita-Reo chose to do, because what matters is how the white shape will be efficient in this kind of thing. And when you've already taken the easy ways to handle the center and the side, there's basically nowhere left for white to go to be efficient, but just vaguely try to run out. And as they try to run out, you can activate this Aji later in the most efficient way for you. So this method of just going to that area which you're going to go to later first, it actually loses a lot of power because white can play in the area which is most efficient, his actual weak group, with good shape. However, he fails to do so, actually. I found this sequence very strange. They should play better than this, in my opinion. At this moment, it's too obvious. You can just Hana inside. But he doesn't. He played here. If Fujita Reo would play this one, I think Wait needs to do like, I mean, something like this. But in this case, you can play here. In my opinion, Wait is in big trouble. In big trouble. However, Fujita Reo played instead like the bump. And the bump means after Wait connects, he gets this Atari in Sente, and the shape is nice. And this is often an AI recommendation. Actually, I wanted to show this particular variation because it shows very clearly the difference between a I want to play like AI mindset versus a human, I want to play the best human moves mindset. I want to play like AI often means I'm going to take advantage of these weaknesses in the most shapely way. I'm going to look so beautiful, and AI tends to find these stunning Tesuji, these beautiful variations. So stuff like I'm going to order bump, and then I can Atari from the center, and I can force you down all to the second line. Usually, that's a great AI recommended shape variation. But practically speaking, it's quite bad in this instance because the black territory in the center is tiny. There's very little there for the amount of stones that black has invested. And the important part of the game was how this white group will save itself, which is now easy. So from a practical standpoint, Wei has gained in strength, and Wei has gained in territory on the right side, and the place where black gained, territory in the center, is like meaningless. What black really gained was shape, which AI usually cares about. So when you learn with AI, you tend to try to gain with shape a lot. If it doesn't have an actual practical effect, it doesn't do anything. So a practical player, someone who had learned, I think, without AI, I think a lot of the time they're the one who's going to play here. And Fujita Reo is missing a little bit of that practicality. I think he can learn it, though. I think that's definitely a skill which is possible to learn, but it is, I think, one of his greatest weaknesses. After that, he plays here. Once again, you can see his will to do AI magic. We're going to try to save that black group. It looks very dead, right? I mean, White even spent a move, which I was kind of complaining about earlier. But in the meantime, since that has happened, black gains so much thickness out here that if black can just sort of scroll his way out and maybe cut something off and try a capture race, it's going to work. It's going to work for sure. At this moment, if White would play some outside move and just challenge black, hey, how can you really save that? Usually White would just gain because black couldn't save it. Usually. But White made a big mistake. He played here, which may look like, oh, that's an outside move, the thing that Telegraph is talking about. But there's a big problem, which is that it's not Sente. If that was Sente, it would make a lot of sense. Like Takahiro Endo is combining his forces, making sure to prepare to be able to launch a serious attack on the black group. That would be great. This is not that. This is like total wasted move, and black gets a free move again to try to save his group. And White is now in trouble, for sure. White plays here. So the reason why he did that is if you would just save something like this, a lot of the time this black move is going to be Sente. Looking for cuts on the bottom side, you can see this is a peep, and cuts here, and you can see there's a bamboo, which also cuts that area. So most of the time, if this would happen, White will have to fix somehow, and then black can make an eye. So he's thinking, if I just exchange this first, then black's not going to have eye shape there. However, once this happens, black still has some potential eye shape there. So White fixed his cutting points here. It looks very solid, but black cut like this. And what black is talking about is that there's still a liberty problem for White in this area. So black is going to try to get the empty triangle in Sente and make a second eye in this area. If he can get one eye there and a second eye here, it's going to be good for black. So White tries to Atari like this, and black connects. And then suddenly, Takahiro Endo resigns. Why? Resign now? If he would try to fix in Sente, which may have been what he wanted, there's a liberty shortage, so he has to spend another move. He cannot Tenuki. He cannot play something like this because black can cut like this, and you can see there is a snapback. Because white filled a liberty, taking the eye away from black there is not quite possible. So by eliminating the eye in this area, white actually owes a full move to connect back over here. And then black would get the first move running out in this side, which is really painful. Just anything like this happens, and you can see that black, it will race his group here against the white group in the center. It looks very, very hopeless. Now, is it actually hopeless? I'm not so sure. I suspect if this was like a team tournament or something like that, Takahiro Endo would continue playing a few moves. But this is just an individual game between the two players, so they don't have any like camaraderie or anything like that spurring them on. At the moment, where Takahiro Endo is like, oh my god, I blundered. I have to spend Gote here. Oh my god, he's gonna break out his group. Oh, this sucks. He just resigned. He didn't want to play. Fair enough. Fair enough. But at the end of the day, I think we have to say a really well played game by Fujita Reo. He kept a lot of pressure on, and one of the things that I use as a measure of how much potential I believe a player has is what is the range of moves which they're capable of. And in this game, we saw Fujita Reo had capabilities to play this move. He could read very sharply on the left side there, and he was in general playing a lot of very tricky and difficult moves. That means that if he just gets better at applying them to the correct strategies and that sort of thing, he can definitely learn, improve, and play even better than this game, where he sort of just stomped on old Japanese 9-dan professional. So, good promise in Fujita Reo. I, in general, support this initiative to take the few talented youngsters in the Japanese system and really get them inundated with professional Go life, try to make them very, very strong. Perhaps in another 7 years, when Fujita Reo is the typical top player age, or maybe even more than that, we will see him competing in the World Championships. That's the hope, at least. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.